What's up, you guys? So today's video, we're gonna reinstall my big mouth lid kit Raim air intake snorkel from Velossa Tech Design. I've never done a full video on my snorkel, so let's get to it. And one of the first things we're gonna do is remove the front bumper. So let's get to that. I'm just hoping that it's about the same compared to my sport. Now, what I remember from my sport bumper, we had a bunch of clips up top, a couple screws there, and then we have screws on the side fenders that we need to take off. And then we also have a bunch more clips underneath that we'll need to remove and a few screws. It shouldn't be too bad. I'll show you guys which clips and screws you need to take out. So as for the top, it'll be these clips. So we have one here. Don't forget the one in this corner here. We also have this one, we also have that one, this one, and the same as the other four from the right side on here. And when it comes to removing these clips, make sure you put them at a safe spot because you'll need them again later. So let's get to it. So when removing those clips, you need a little clip tool. Shout out to Last Fit for sending this out to me. They have a clip tool kit which comes with different types of clip tools. The orange ones are from somewhere else, but these blue ones are from Last Fit and they work perfect. Let's remove the clips. Make sure you go very gentle on these because they are very, very fragile and they're easy to replace, but you just want to make sure you don't go crazy on it and end up scratching your paint on your front bumper as well. But as you can see, fairly simple. So we're now removing the clips up here. This one right here, you do not have to remove this one as well as that one. So I kept it on because it's not connected to the front bumper. And then as for the clip here, you just need to loosen up this clip under here and it should be able to come off nice and easy here. Also, when unhooking this, you want to push upwards gently. You do not want to go super hard because it has like a clip here, and when that clip breaks, it's not going to be flush anymore. So you want to be super careful with these things. So I counted, you're only going to take out 8 clips up top. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then you're just loosening up the clip here just so you can take this off. And next we'll move on to the screw on the fenders. So for taking out the screw on the fenders here, it'll be directly under this line. So it'll be right here. I don't know if I can show it to you, but yeah, no, it's too hard, but it's gonna be right there, right here. So we're just gonna take it off. It's gonna be kind of like at an angle towards your front windshield like this. And then you'll get a feel for it. So once you get it, just loosen it up here. Nice and gentle, because you don't want to scratch your front bumper. And then you'll do the same for the left side of the left side fender, is what I'm trying to say. So once you get it out, it's gonna look like this. Just a nice little screw here, and then we'll do the other side. But before we move on to the left side, I believe you have to take off this screw right here. This one, I don't know. Let me see if you'll need to take this off. Alright, so I checked, and you do have to remove those 2 screws that are right here. So we'll have to do the same on the other side. So once you get those screws off from both fenders, we're going to move on to the bottom of the bumper. Alright, so as for the bottom, it's actually different compared to my sport. So we're going to remove this clip right here. Then we have this clip, and then we have a 10mm bolt here and a screw that you need to remove here. And then along the line of here, all these clips all the way to the other side with the one screw and the one 10mm bolt on that side we'll have to remove. So just remove those and you should be all good. So what I found out from doing the bottom of the bumper, you will only need to remove another 8 clips, and these clips are the ones that are closer to the skid plate. So when you look underneath, there will be clips that are closer to here at the front. You don't need to take the first and second row off. It's only the row back here. Back here is what you need to remove. So this row, all the way back closer to the skid plate, that's the only row you need to take off. And then the two, the one screw and then the one 10mm bolt on both sides, and then you should be good to go. Now, one of the biggest things that are different is that this part here is interconnected with the front bumper. The Sport had its own little part that you can just take off. This one is connected, so I gotta find out how to take this out. And you have to be very careful because this has hinges inside that if you pull up too much or force it out, it'll break and it'll not hold the part well enough. So let me see what I can do. All right, so after figuring it out, what you need to do first is unhinge this panel here nice and gently. And when you pull this back, there's gonna be clips underneath right there. So this clip here, and there's a bunch more along this area. You'll have to use a clip tool to go inside and unclip those gently because you don't want to jam it in there because they're very fragile and they will break very easily. So this part here, you don't need to take this off. You just need to unclip those hinges that are inside the bumper. And so once you get this side and then that side, you should be able to take the full bumper off. And remember, be very careful when you're unclipping these hinges here. So just with applying pressure this way, you'll see that there's another hinge here. You just need another clip tool to slowly push it up while putting pressure this way so you can unhook it. And just like that, I unhooked it. And there's 2 more in here that I need to remove. So I was able to do the left side here. So the hinges that I'm talking about, there's one over here, these little clips here. See the little holes, like that one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So those are the ones that you'll need to get under to unclip them. And like I said, this thing stays on, so you can take it off, but you don't need to do that. You just need to unclip those and you should be good to go. So I got both sides unclipped. Now it's just time to remove the full front bumper off this way. The one thing I forgot to tell you guys is that on the fenders, I did tell you to take 2 screws off, but you also need to take off the 2 clips that were right here on both sides that are connected to the air vents. So you need to take those off and then you'll be able to completely take it off just like that. First thing we need to do before installing the Snorkel, we need to remove this OEM shroud here. So there's just going to be a bunch of clips. It should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10, which is going to be on these sides right here. And 1 more right here, so that's 11. So 11 clips, 12, and 13. So there's 2 clips here. So 13 clips in total that you'll need to remove to get this shroud off. 12. So once you have that off, you should just be able to pull this out here. Nice and easy. And there you go. So once we have the OEM shroud out, we just need to loosen up 2 10mm bolts, which is this one and this one. and you don't need to completely loosen them up, just so you can get the snorkel under here, so you don't need to take these completely off. So loosen this up here. So as you can see, it's not like completely off. As long as you have enough room for the snorkel to go under, it should be okay. So then you want to grab your snorkel. You want to line it up to the second hole here. So once you have it lined up to the second hole, and you see that the retainer clip here is lined up, it's going to look just like that. It's all lined up. So before you move on, you can actually take one of the retainer clips that you took off and put it on first on the snorkel, just so you can have it stay on there. So take your retainer clip, and then you want to just put it into the snorkel here, just like so, and it'll stay aligned just like that. Then what you want to do is take your 5mm hex screw and put it into here, just like so. Now when you're tightening the screw, make sure you don't over tighten it, just a good amount to where it's pretty secure in there, just like that. And it'll look like this so far. And then the next step is we have to put the screw and the washer up here, and then we'll have to retighten the 10mm bolts. Then we'll have to wire it, and we should be all good to go. So next step is take your washer and then your little screw. We're going to put it on top of the hole that we aligned it with the snorkel, and then you're just going to screw this in. And once again, once you're screwing this in, make sure you don't over screw it, just a good amount to secure the snorkel on there. And just like that, you should be good to go. Then what you want to do is retighten these two, just like that, and you should be good to go. So once you have that all tightened up, it'll look like this. And we're going to move on to the wiring, which is the fun part. So you want to take the wire here, and you actually want to place it through this little hole here. So we're going to take it, place it through here, and it should come out on this side, just like that. Just pull it through, and that should be good. Alright, so once you have that wire through, what you want to do next is take this bolt here and unloosen that, because we're going to take our wires that came from the kit and put the ground wire into that. When you get the kit, you will actually have two ground wires, two black ground wires. You only need to put one in there, and this is a 10mm bolt that you can loosen up here. So just loosen this up. Once you have that loosened up, I'm going to take this guy here, and then we're going to take the ground wire and put it through there, just like that. And we're going to tighten this back up. There we go. So just like that, you have the ground wire on here. Just have it resting like this, and we'll move on from there. So before we move to the next step, I forgot to show you guys the actual wire. So it'll look like this, and it is completely optional. You don't need to do it. So next, what you want to do is we're going to take our controller here, and we're going to attach it to this area right here. When doing this, make sure that the surface of this spot is clean. So you use like an alcohol wipe, like what I'm doing. Just clean it well. Grab a microfiber towel and wipe it down just so it's completely clean. And then we're going to take our controller that has the 3M tape back here. So originally it actually had a white tape here, but since I took it off from my Sport 11 Gen, I had to reapply 3M tape. So any 3M tape will work. And what you want to do is you want to just line it up here to where these wires are facing this way, and this gray wire is also up front. So that's how you want to put it down. So we're just gonna have it right in this spot right here. Just make sure it's nice and lined up. Put a good amount of pressure on there. I'd say hold it for like 20 seconds just to be sure and that the 3M tape adheres onto the surface. Then what you want to do is grab this connector here and connect it to the gray pigtail connector, which is right here, and just clip it on just like that. You should be good there. So the wires would look like this, and there is a good amount, so I recommend using a zip tie just to wrap it up nicely. Before you organize that, make sure that the wires, including the ground wire, are facing this way, going that way. Once you have it well organized just like this, we're going to take our switch here, and then we're going to follow the schematics on page 12 on the guide that I'm following, and I'll show that on the screen here. As you can see, this will have 2 silver slots, and then there's also 1 gold slot right here. So we're going to take the first slot, which is the connector with the gray. We're going to take it and put it on the very first silver slot here. We're going to take silver, and then we're going to take our other one, which has the fuse, and that's going to go into the second silver slot. So I'm just showing you now how to plug this in, because later I'm going to show you how to actually put this through your cabin so that you don't have to open your hood to switch it on and off all the time. You can just turn it on and off in your cabin so that you don't forget to turn it off, because you don't want it to drain your battery. I'm just going to bundle up all the wire here just so it's organized, and we could stuff it somewhere safe in the engine bay. And I'll show you where to hide all of these wires later, but for right now I'm going to show you where to wire the red one. So this will go onto the battery, and I'll show you how to do that here. Loosen it like this. This one you're actually going to have to loosen up all the way, nice and slow. So once the nut is gone, we're going to take this, and then we're going to put it through underneath here, just like that. And so as you can see, it is under the cap here and it's through. And then what you want to do from there, we're going to take the nut back, just retighten this here. You can retighten it with your hand for right now, just so it's on there securely. So just like that. And once that's done, we'll tighten it fully. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and close this up, and that's all set. And one more thing I forgot to show you guys is take the wire that we went through from the front and take one of these wires from the 3 ports, and then we're actually gonna put them into any of these. So any of these will work. So just put them onto one. Make sure that the arrows on here line up. So just push it through, and it should be good to go, just like that. And so that way you can actually test to see if it's working. I have it out, so I'm going to turn it on. So once you turn this on, when that is lit up red, that means that it's on, and you can check to see if it's working. Right now I have it on white, and you can change it through the Diode Dynamics app, which I'll show you later. But for now, let's organize this and make it look a lot better, and I'll show you how to wire it through your cabin. Now to wire it through your cabin, first you're going to have to take the switch off for right now. Just remember how to put it back on later, and the right order to put them in. So we're just going to take everything and just rewire it so that it looks good. Just like that. And for the wire that actually connects to the gray connector here, make sure you leave a good amount of wire so you can put it through the fender right here. So first what you're going to do is you're going to take both wires, So these two. And what you're going to do is you're going to actually put a zip tie on here. I'd suggest using a long one. So this is how I did it. So make sure they're kind of like on top of each other like that. And then that's a good amount. And then we're going to put it through the fender here. But before that, I'm going to show you one thing that you'll need to take out. So it's hard to see, but there's going to be a little plastic grommet right here. So you're going to take this out. And it should be fairly easy to take out, and it'll look like this. So what you're going to do with this grommet here is that you're going to put kind of like an X mark in here, so that when we wire the two red wires through the fender, we can put it through here, and it'll be a waterproof protector, and you should be set to go, and you don't have to worry about your wires getting destroyed. And just like that, so you have a little way to get through. You should be good. So now we're going to take the two red wires, and we're going to place it through the fender, and there's going to be a little space in between there, and you want to just pull it through with the zip tie. So when you place that zip tie through the little space in between, you'll find it easy to pull out just like this, and then just pull the red wires through that little gap right there. So when you're doing this, there's going to be a super tiny amount of space in between. What you can do is take a clip tool just like this and just push in the plastic piece of the fender so that you can have enough space for the wires to go through. So once you have it through, you'll see that the red wires are good to go right here. So from here, you want to take these two and the grommet that we made and place it through the holes that we made in the grommet. So just like so, pull it through the grommet here, and then we're going to place it back to where we found that plastic grommet, and then we'll have to pull down this panel and take one of these plastic covers off and place the switch through that. So to remove this panel, we just want to take one of the smaller clipping tools, place it through the wedge, and slowly push it down. Once you get a little space, you just gently push it out, just like that. Should be okay. So when it comes to these plastic covers, you can actually just press one of them through, and it'll look like this. Just take one of these clips and press them through, and you should be able to take them out just like that. So once you have that panel out, we're going to take the two wires and put it through the hole where the grommet used to be, and which is why I told you to keep a good amount of red wire so you can actually pull it through. So once you have the wires through the grommet and the grommet's back into place, you can get the wire through under here. There's going to be like an opening right there, and you can just pull this through, and this is where you want to get your switch and replug these in. Take your switch, just plug these back in to the silver spots on the switch, just like so, and one more, and then you can test it to see if it works. Turn it on, and so it's glowing. So I changed the color just so you guys can see better during the day, and I'll show you more of what it looks like at nighttime later. So yeah, just make sure you test it before you put everything back, and let's get to finishing the wiring. Once you have that done and you tested it to see if it works, we're just going to take this switch and take it through the hole that we took the plastic cover off from. Take this, make sure you have a good amount of wire, and just place it through. Should be set to go just like that. So once you have the desired amount of wiring for the switch, just put back the panel like it used to be. You can just push this through actually. There we go. Make sure everything's aligned. So once the panel is back, you'll have access to the switch right here. You just turn it on and off, and make sure you always keep it off every time you get out of the car. You should be all set to go. And there we go. So I hid the wires in here so that it's not too obvious, and there's going to be a little bit of wire going through, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem. And there it is. There's a snorkel. All we have to do is put back the bumper, but before we do that, let me go over how this actually works. So the big mouth snorkel is actually placed and positioned this way to have maximum air pressure recovery. So basically what it does is that it feeds high pressure air into your intake. For example, for me, I have the short ram intake. And so what the snorkel does is that it increases the pressure to the engine, which has a really good effect on performance. And since the air mass flow is increased, there is reduced wastegate duty cycle for turbo vehicles. For example, for mine, my car is a turbocharged engine, and so it'll reduce the inlet and charge temps as well. So yeah, those are some benefits of running the big mouth intake snorkel from Velossa. So whatever aftermarket intake that you think of putting on, pairing it up with this guy right here, it'll increase the performance of that intake. So here's the full reveal, and this was also something that I was hiding from you guys, so I redid the front emblem here, and I actually put on a Type R version emblem and put overlays from Aeroflow Dynamics overlays. So shout out to those guys for sending this out to me quickly, and it looks really good. I also put a Type R version emblem on the steering wheel as well as the overlay, and this is what it looks like to match the front. And moving on to the back, I also did the back one, which looks like this, just to match everything, and it honestly looks really good. I prefer the inverse of the black and red. So yeah, back to the Velossa Air Ram Snorkel, which is the big mouth lit kit. This is what it looks like during daytime, and I will show you what it looks like at nighttime in a minute. So let's switch to nighttime. All right, so this is what it looks like at nighttime. And then for the app, which I'm actually going to show you guys right now. So this is the Diodes Dynamics app. So you can find it on the App Store, whether you have Apple or Android. And so I'll put like a little pop-up on the right here to show you guys how to do the install. But pretty much from here, you can change it to any color. So I could do red, it'll turn red. Or you can even go through all of these colors and it'll just change to whatever color you want. So within the app, you can actually have different patterns. You could do like a 7-color fade if you wanted to, just like that. So if you do the 7-color fade, it'll do like a little cycle, and it looks pretty good. And it's very bright right now, but you can change the brightness to whatever you want. But usually I just keep it on 100, or actually I keep it around like 80, and that's a good amount during the day and at nighttime. Alright, so let's switch back to daytime and we'll finish the video from there. So as you guys saw, it is fairly bright at nighttime, and one thing I forgot to show you guys is that in the app there is a button on the very right here which says camera, so you can actually point it to any color. Like for example, my water bottle here. So if I go here, right, and I press the color, there you go. So it'll change to any color that you want. And so if I put the camera towards the emblem here and click it, it'll turn red. Or if you look at the ground, there's like leaves, it'll turn kind of orange and yellow. So it's pretty cool. It's very customizable to whatever liking you like, but I prefer to have it on the white since it just fits everything, or red. Other than that, it is very cool, and it adds so much style points to the front for sure. Anyway guys, before I end this video, I just want to give a big shout out to my sponsor once again, Velossa Design, as well as Last Fit Auto Lighting. But thank you Velossa for making me achieve the style that I want for this car. And honestly, the install was fairly simple, and I already knew it was going to fit anyway. It was just taking the front bumper off was something that I wasn't too sure about, but we figured it out and I showed you guys how to do it. So if you have the same 2025 11 Gen front bumper, you'll know how to take it out and be able to install a snorkel if you plan on doing that. But thank you guys for watching, and as always, stay safe out there and drive safe out there as well. And I'll see you guys on the next one.